So this is your monthly check-in and making sure that your website is running super smooth and doing all of the things that it needs to without you getting completely overwhelmed with all of the tech. Stick with me. We are going to go through the monthly maintenance that I do to my own website and that I do for my clients with our stress-free website hosting. So this is where I jump into your website and actually update everything for you. So you don't have to think about this if you don't want to. If you are on a budget though and you are wanting to keep your costs down, here are the tips that you need to actually make sure that your website is safe, secure, and running the best that it possibly can. So let's jump over into my screen here. Perfect. So we have me in there. Now I'm going to go into here. Now I flick around a lot of things when I'm doing this, but I want to actually show you a couple of plugins that I love that have been working really, really well, and a couple that I recommend everyone needs. So the first is Updraft Plus, and the first thing that we're going to do each and every month is make sure that we've got a backup. So we go straight in. This is a free plugin, so bonus points for that. You can just go ahead and click backup, and that's going to run in the background. It doesn't take very long at all with this one. It is an awesome little program and it does it really quickly. The benefit with having a backup on your site is making sure that you've always got a copy of this yourself. If your hosting has a problem, if your designer has a problem, if anything goes wrong with your website, you've got a copy ready to upload straight away. Now, I will tell you of the most horrific story I remember. About 11 years ago, it was about when I started Morris Bear Designs, a very, very popular website design company disappeared overnight. They went out of business, taking away all of their hosting, all of their established plans, and just disappearing off the face of the planet. What was left was hundreds of people who had no access to their website. They didn't have backups, they didn't have anything that they could upload and restart anywhere else. The importance of having that backup is making sure that regardless of who you're dealing with, and I know how much trust you put in me as your website designer, and I know that I could never do that, but I've seen it happen before. So we want to make sure that everyone, regardless of whether you're one of my clients or someone else's clients, has access to all of their files, all of their information to make sure that you've got this going on. So that is my first one. Updraft Plus is a great option. I also love Backup Buddy. It is a premium plugin, but it does an amazing job, and it's actually really easy to transfer a site as well. So those are my two recommendations there. We're getting some slow up on my internet here, which is why that's causing that issue. But let's move on. Once you've got your backup done, I want you to go ahead and click on your database, download all of these things, and make sure you have a copy on your computer. If you have this on your computer, you know that you've always got access to it. So that's number one. We always start with a backup. Then you're going to jump into this little icon here where it's going to give you your updates. Now, each and every month, there are hundreds of updates performed across WordPress, across your plugins, across everything that's involved in running your website. So you want to go ahead and make sure that you are getting the latest information there. Couple of caveats there. If it is a major update to your version of WordPress, definitely make sure you've got a backup first. Always. Before we touch these, we want to make sure we've got that backup. First and foremost, you want to hit if there are any updates to your themes. Now, ideally, your website has been created with a child theme. Promise I won't lose you here, but that's going to allow you to update the core theme on your website. Make sure that it's always current and always up with the best standards of security as well. So go ahead and click if there are any in your themes here. Click them first. They are going to be the safest updates that you can start with. Once you've done that, then you can test through your website, make sure it's all loading correctly, and make sure that everything is showing especially as it should be. The next up, you're going to get a list of plugins. Now, with your plugins, I actually like to do these one by one, making sure that you're going through each one and checking its function as it goes along. This is primarily for your bigger plugins. So anything like this one here, we've got a Learn Dash update that's there, which needs to be done. That I know is going to mess with my online programs. So people's access into the Elevate formula, into Funnels Made Fun, into all of my online courses, which you can access on my website. So I want to make sure that when I do that update, it's a really secure one. So I will check in with the developers, see what the latest updates are and what those changes are, whether I need to rush that through straight away and whether it's going to impact any changes. With something like that, I tend to leave it till the end of the month, or the start of the month in this case, where we'll actually jump in and get straight into the details of what each one has. But I've had a little bit of time to actually make sure that it's really safe to update that. So I'm going to go through those. The smaller plugins, I have things like Bookly on there. I have things like Bloom and the Instagram feeds, which are generally just small security updates. They're not massive function updates, so they're okay to just go ahead and click update on those. Once we've got that done, then we want to check that we've got the latest version of WordPress. In this case, you can actually see it's 5.3.2. So what that is 5.3 was a major release, and then 0.2 has been the smaller updates, making sure that any conflicts have been resolved, making sure that anything's all working positively. So what you want to do when they release a massive update, as they did with 5.3 and 5, and they tend to roll them out at Christmas time just to drive us all mad. But there's a really good place to actually making sure you've got that backup, making sure that you've got a point to return back to if anything does go wrong. In a lot of cases, when they do a major update, you'll see things shift in the back end completely. So making sure that you've let it settle and you've actually gone to 5.3.1 is a really good way to know that all of the team at WordPress have actually made sure that everything is safe to update. So I actually will double check with my clients and I will make sure I've got a second backup after I've updated the themes and the plugins as well, and then do the update of WordPress, and then I'll actually take another backup as well. I am a big fan of the more the merrier, because you can never have too many iterations of that. You can roll back in smaller things, but making sure that I've got a backup when something is changing dramatically makes me certain that I've got something to go back to. So when I look after client sites, they don't have to think about this when we just take care of everything. It just functions how you need to. But if you don't want to be doing that, this is a great way that you can actually get started. This is all in your back end. Updraft Plus is a great plugin for having that backup and making sure you've got a backup sitting there. The other one that I really recommend is WP Rocket. That's also a premium plugin, but it's one of my favorites. It works amazingly for your website speed and making sure that you've got all of the little nitty-gritty details set out to make sure that your website is running premium. So there you have it. Once a month, and it's only once a month, I want you to jump in, complete a backup, update your theme, update your plugins, do another backup just in case, update your WordPress version if you need to, and finish it off with a final backup. That's the step-by-steps and the easy option for you to make sure that you have got absolutely everything covered. Your website will say safe, secure, and super speedy, and really ready to serve your clients. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.